There are 3 countries in Europe that don't require a language test to get citizenship in their country. In Cyprus, Ireland, and Sweden, applicants don't have any sort of language requirements for ordinary naturalization. These are the number of countries and territories that you can travel to, either visa-free or visa-free on arrival to, these 3 countries. And Cyprus has got 176 countries and territories that you can travel to, visa-free or visa-free on arrival. Sweden 188 and Ireland 188, which ties with Sweden. Now, the big key here is one of the biggest problems I run into when people are trying to get residency by investment is they never learn the language of that country. It really screws up more people than anything else that I can think of in trying to get naturalization in a country by residing there. And if you want to waiver that, like for instance, Portugal. You know, I saw on the internet one time where Portugal was rated as the easiest country in Europe to get a second passport. I don't know where they got that from. You're going to have to learn Portuguese, which is a pretty hard language to learn. And if you already know it, that's different. But most people that go there don't already know it. And so you're going to have to, that's a challenge to learn that language. These are countries that there's no language test. You just go there, reside, put the time in, and then apply for the citizenship and passport after that time period. And the predictability on these 3 countries is very good. It's not like countries that are in the Caribbean or in places that are in Central South America that you reside there for a while and then apply, and the statutory period says 5 years you can apply for the citizenship after 5 years of residency, and you don't even hear from the government, and this can happen over and over and over again, year after year after year. After the 5-year period, you still won't get anything back from the government. This is the problem that you have with a lot of countries. These 3 countries, you won't have that, but there are some disadvantages of these 3 countries that I'm going to go over with you. But again, the top tax brackets, if you're resident in these countries, can make a big difference in choosing them. Like for instance, Sweden has a top bracket of 52%. Now Ireland is 0%. If you're a resident of Ireland and you got non-dom status there, and 0 funds are remitted to Ireland, and no income has been made in Ireland for the year. Now, again, Ireland has pretty high taxes locally, but with a non-dom status, you can control that and get it down to 0 if you know what you're doing. Ireland's non-dom status period does not end unless you change your domicile to Ireland. So if you get St. Kitts and Nevis passport, you relinquish your U.S. citizenship, and then you get another passport, like let's say it's Ireland, and then you decide to relinquish your St. Kitts passport citizenship, then your domicile automatically becomes Ireland. Okay. Now it's deemed that your domicile, if you relinquish your U.S. citizenship and you get the St. Kitts passport, it's going to be the St. Kitts passport because that was gotten actually before your Irish passport. But now if you get an Irish passport and then you drop your St. Kitts passport, your domicile will automatically be in Ireland. So you need to keep that St. Kitts passport, or if you're still a U.S. citizen and you want to stay here, keep your U.S. citizenship, you want to, if you want to make your domicile the U.S., then you just keep the passport. You can get the Irish passport also, but your domicile would still be in the U.S. Now, Cyprus has a 0% tax if you're non-dom and funds are not remitted to Cyprus. And no money is made in Cyprus for the year, but the non-dom status has a limitation around 17 years. And this would be taxed on your worldwide income, if you stayed in Cyprus after the 17-year period. Now, that's the thing that's not neat about Ireland is Ireland, there is no statutory period on their non-dom program. Like, for instance, in the UK, it's roughly around 7 years before you have to start paying any sort of tax after 7 years on the non-dom program with the UK. Now, Ireland there is no limitation period on there, like you do have in the UK and Cyprus. The USA, for instance, let's look at this as far as the population of people that speak English, okay? And we'll use the USA as a comparison. Ireland, 99% of the population speaks English. Even looking at the USA, which 95% of the people in the USA speak English, Ireland has a higher percentage of people that speak English than the US does. Sweden, roughly around 89% of the population speaks English, and Cyprus is 76%. So, you know, if you listen to this video, you can speak English. So these are great countries where you can go there, you can deal with the country because you already speak the language, and you can get the passport without having to take any sort of, you know, language test, including even English. So it's very easy to get the passport that way. I don't think the Portugal passport is an easy way. I think it's a very difficult passport to get because you have to learn Portuguese. If you didn't have to learn Portuguese, that would be totally different. Now, all three of these countries do allow dual citizenship, which is what you want to be looking for. The big disadvantage of all three of these countries is all three are part of the EU. And my prediction, which I've mentioned before in other videos, is sometime in the near future, the EU is probably going to come out with a taxation similar to the USA and start taxing worldwide income based on your EU citizenship. And if they do that, then you're going to have to relinquish that passport in the EU, and they might have exit taxes if you do that at that point. Anyway, if you want to know more on this, folks, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. And folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen. You get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below, and I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.